The transport bay was louder than I expected. Every voice seemed to echo against the vaulted ceilings, 1,000 different languages blending into a confusing storm of sound. I had been invited, well more like ordered, to attend the Galactic Summit aboard the Celestial Spire, the largest orbital station in this part of the galaxy. The invitation had been both an honor and a curse. As one of the few human envoys allowed beyond the borders of Sol, I had been granted a seat among delegates who represented empires that spanned hundreds of star systems. But when I stepped into the Grand Assembly chamber, I realized my seat was not so easily found. The chamber itself was breathtaking. Seats of crystalline alloy floated in concentric circles around a central dais where holographic maps of the galaxy shimmered. Each row rose like terraces in an ancient amphitheater. Delegates of every species imaginable filled them. Scaled, feathered, furred, plated, translucent. Some were wrapped in shimmering robes, others sat in elaborate exosuits. And yet, for all its grandeur, the chamber left me standing awkwardly near the entrance. My human liaison badge glowed faintly, but when I looked at the rows, none of the chairs bore my sigil. Perhaps it was an oversight. Perhaps they simply didn't expect me to show up. I wandered the aisles, trying not to stare too long at the alien physiologies around me. But it was impossible not to. A delegation of 6 insectoid beings clacked their mandibles in rhythmic pulses. A group of amphibious envoys floated inside sealed tanks, their watery spheres hovering above the steps. Every seat seemed full. Every species had its place. Except me. I kept walking, heat rising in my face. The last thing I wanted was to look like some lost tourist at the greatest political gathering in the galaxy. My heart pounded louder than the murmurs around me. And then I felt it, a hand cool and firm closing around my arm. I turned sharply, and the entire chamber seemed to fade. Standing there was a figure impossible to miss, even among so many beings. She was tall, regal, draped in robes woven from some kind of iridescent silk that shifted from violet to silver as she moved. Her skin carried a faint luminescent glow, and her eyes, twin pools of molten gold, regarded me with an intensity that made me want to look away and stare forever all at once. The alienqueen. I had heard whispers of her. Queen Serelith of the Veari Dominion, ruler of 1,000 stars, said to command armies that could turn planets to ash. Her presence was usually distant, untouchable, more myth than flesh. And yet here she was, holding my arm as if I were an old acquaintance. Her lips curved into a faint smile. "You wander without a seat, human. Sit next to me." Gasps rippled through the rows nearest us. Delegates turned, mandibles clicking, feathers ruffling, tendrils twitching. Froze. 1,000 thoughts crashed through my head. Why me? Why here? Why in front of everyone? But her hand didn't release me. Instead, with surprising strength, she guided me down the steps to her row, past ambassadors who shifted uncomfortably, until I stood before a seat at her side. An empty chair of crystalline alloy that hadn't been there a moment before. "Sit," she said softly, though her tone carried the weight of command. And so I did. Middle. The session began with the formalities. Star maps shifted, territorial boundaries were argued, resources divided, disputes aired. I tried to focus, but I was too aware of the queen sitting beside me. Every now and then, I caught her watching me out of the corner of my eye, as if studying some rare creature. At first, I thought it was nothing more than political theater. Placing a human beside her was a message, a power play. It made the galaxy notice us, whether we were ready or not. But as the hours wore on, I realized it was more than that. When I shifted uncomfortably, she leaned closer, her voice like velvet in my ear. "Do not fidget, human. They already fear you. Fear me, I whispered back, incredulous. Not you, she corrected. Your kind. You are still new to this stage, but they have read the histories. They know how your species expands, how quickly you adapt. They fear what you may become. Her words sent a chill down my spine. Humanity was barely crawling into interstellar space compared to these ancient empires. And yet, to them we were a looming storm. During one heated exchange between rival species, Seralith leaned toward me again. Tell me, what would your people do if two of your neighbors disputed ownership of a world? Caught off guard, I hesitated. We'd probably fight over it. Negotiate first, maybe. But if it had resources we needed, history says war would follow. Her golden eyes gleamed. Honest. Refreshing. As the day unfolded, I began to understand why she had chosen me. She asked me small questions between debates, as if gauging not just me but humanity through me. She wanted to know how we thought, how we viewed power, survival, loyalty. And each time I answered, she seemed amused, intrigued. At one point during a recess, I dared to ask her, "Why me? Why bring me to your side?" She turned fully toward me, and the entire chamber seemed to hold its breath. Even in silence, her presence commanded the room. "Because," she said, her voice soft but carrying across the chamber, "the galaxy underestimates you. I do not. You are a small flame now. But one day, you will be a star that burns too bright to ignore. And I." She paused, her gaze piercing mine. "I wish to sit beside that fire, not against it." Murmurs spread among the delegates. I felt dozens of eyes on me, some filled with disdain, others with calculation. From that moment forward, everything changed. When the debates resumed, other leaders addressed me directly, testing me with questions, probing my views. Normally, I would have been dismissed as a junior envoy from a backwater system. But with the Queen at my side, my words carried weight they had never had before. And she supported me, nodding when I spoke, occasionally adding, "The human speaks wisely." It was surreal, intoxicating, terrifying. Yet not all welcomed this new arrangement. I noticed cold glares from the reptilian Koroth delegation, whispers among the crystalline Arvani. The balance of the summit had shifted, and not everyone approved. That night, after the chamber emptied, I remained seated, my thoughts swirling. Seralith lingered as well. "You are troubled," she observed. "Everyone either wants me gone or wants something from me," I admitted. "I don't even know if I belong here." Her expression softened. "Belonging is not given, human. It is taken. Today you took it. Tomorrow they will test you again. When they do, remember this. You sat beside a queen, and no one dared remove you." Her words struck deep. For the first time, I felt less like an imposter and more like a participant in something vast. Ending. The following days blurred into one another. The summit was a storm of politics, and I was caught in its center. Thanks to Seralith, my voice grew louder. Slowly, some delegates began to see humanity not as intruders, but as emerging equals. But power always draws envy. On the fifth day, an assassination attempt shattered the fragile calm. The chamber erupted in chaos as a shard of dark energy lanced across the room, aimed not at Seralith, but at me.